Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's edition of Hunting Matters, brought to you by Houston Safari Club Foundation. It's been a great week this week. The weather's finally cooled off a little bit. The whitetail are going in a rut here in Texas, so I'm excited. My buddy Derek Ham's with me, so that tops it off all this week. Hey Derek, how you doing?
Doing really well, yeah, enjoying the weather.
Yeah.
And then noticing it's going to be like in the 70s by this weekend again.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, well, I wore a jacket to work today, and now I need a t-shirt on.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
typical, Texas weather. And have you been out chasing whitetails at all?
I have a couple times.
Taking anything?
Not yet. I've let a few walk this year, and I'm proud of myself for doing it. I mean, sometimes it's tough. You look at them and you think, maybe, but no, I let a couple walk this year.
Yeah.
But shot more aoudad and hogs than anything else, I think.
Right. Yeah, I've let two deer that I was kind of on the fence watching them. I'm like, and I fell into that trap. Well, I'll go back and sit here tomorrow or this afternoon, and they'll probably come back out again, and I haven't. And now that the rut's on, which I haven't had a chance to, I didn't get to hunt last weekend. I'm not going to hunt this weekend. I'm going to go back on the 18th right before Christmas. I think it's going to be kind of on the tail end of the rut, don't you, up in the hill country?
I think so too.
Before we get the second rut, late December, I'm guessing. But it'll be interesting. And I got drawn on the lease. I'm on the lease, and they decided to do two drawings for for oryx this year because there's oryx on the lease.
Nice.
And I got drawn to take an oryx, so I'm going to
Nice.
try to go take an oryx this year.
That'll be cool. Yeah.
And they're delicious.
That is not something that I've experienced either shooting or eating or anything.
Yeah, they're delicious. I've never shot one before. I had oryx when I was in Namibia one time, but they're really good. So you're talking about you're shooting aoudad, you're shooting hogs. I've got a lot of questions to ask you about a bunch of different things, but I'm going to say that you're in the real estate land business.
Yes.
For ranches and farmland. And it hadn't been that too long ago since you and your wife made the decision to acquire your own property. Tell me about that.
To make a purchase. Well, it can't be my idea, right? It had to be
Right.
hers.
Sure.
So I had to wait for that.
Yeah.
And she had actually put it in front of me and said, "What do you
Jenny,
think?"
I hope you're not watching this podcast.
Nah, she won't. But beautiful place up near Concan. It's got big neighbors and all that kind of stuff, and that's kind of what did it for us, or for me,
Yeah.
is seeing that one neighbor's got 5,000 acres and then another neighbor's got 2,500, all low fenced. It's in the hills, so that's really, really what did it for us. And that's the thing too. You can wait and wait and wait for that interest rate, but if you find a place that you really love, you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be there maybe when you do decide, okay, they brought it down another quarter or half point, or if they would. So you gotta do it.
Yeah.
And you can always refinance. So.
The thing that I've kind of gathered from you, I'll get these pictures from you randomly by text, is that you've got a lot more and a more diversity of wildlife than I think you knew you were getting.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, seen, besides aoudad and the hogs and your typical coyotes and stuff like that, I've seen sika. I've seen elk, and not just one. I've seen three.
Yeah.
Cow elk, fully mature elk, and then calf. Seen some different kinds of rams that have come through there.
Yeah.
And then I've got on camera axis. Have not had the opportunity to hunt one, but it's so close to Garner.
Yeah.
And there's just so much going back and forth through that whole area. It's
Right.
just, it's amazing. But yeah.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation's Worldwide Hunting Expo and Convention is back. January 23rd to the 25th at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott. Explore worldwide hunting and fishing outfitters, gear, auctions, raffles, and banquets. $20 at the door, kids under 15, military and first responders free with ID. Learn more at WeHuntWeGive.org. Sponsored by Boyd's Gun Stocks, Capital Farm Credit, Copendero, DEA Ranch, Dex Imaging, Genus Logistics, Gunworks Revic, and Wildlife Partners.
So, talking from a business perspective, I was reading my news feed yesterday, and the Fed chair's current term is up, I think, in May of next year. What's the real estate industry and the land industry saying about that when that happens? Are we going to finally see rates drop? Is it going to become more of a buyer's market? What are we looking like next year?
That's the hope, and that's the hope, and that's the prevailing thought.
Yeah.
Right now, everybody is kind of sitting on their hands a little bit. some people are like, well, it's the holidays. Well, no, when the market's good, the market's good. And I've sold plenty of properties between the week between Christmas and New Year's, believe it or not. And it wasn't just for like a tax reason or something. But that's kind of the prevailing thought is when there's movement hopefully after the first of the year, they will turn into more of a buyer's market.
Trump will have more, the current president will have more influence on who the next Fed chair is, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, I know they're an independent body, but at the same time, I just, you live, eat, and breathe this every day. I just am really hopeful that the real estate market settles itself out because, I know it's either a buyer's market or it's a seller's market. Why can't we just get to an equilibrium where it's great for everybody?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know that it'll ever be, truly.
At least closer.
Right. Well, it's closer. I think, before COVID, pre-COVID, things seemed to be in somewhat of equilibrium, at least to me in my experience. And then COVID hit and everybody panicked and didn't know what was going to happen with the market. Well, and then the market went bananas and I couldn't even do my job. If I got a listing and I said, here are the comps and it's worth this amount of money, slap another $500,000 or $1 million on it and it'd sell. Yeah. You couldn't even do your job really, so much sold. And then that trend kind of continued. And then believe it or not, there's still people that have that thought that no, the prices still need to be, we need to add this and add that and those comps don't matter. Well, no, we're coming into more of a steady market, I would say, with pricing and comps.
Okay.
Whereas coming out of COVID, you couldn't do that.
Right.
So
plus everybody was fleeing.
Right. Everybody was running, getting out of town as fast as they could.
Yeah.
I remember showing people property wearing masks and all that kind of stuff. It was
and in California, and they're coming from New York and
right
other countries, and
right.
I mean, it's just like we're done. We got to get out of these big cities, And I think part of it was the fear, but part of it also was the overreach by local, state, federal governments. They were just like, I'm out.
Well, there was so much of the unknown. I remember one guy actually telling me, I was kind of waiting to find out if half the population was going to be gone or not.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
It sounds like science fiction, but for a minute there, nobody knew what was going to happen.
Well, that's what they wanted.
Right.
Sorry, we're welcome to the conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah.
But they wanted everybody to be afraid. It's a government dependence thing, and the older and grumpier I get, the more I'm just like railing against these things. It's ridiculous.
I know. I didn't bring my aluminum hat, so
yeah.
You brought yours for the
I didn't bring my tinfoil hat either.
Yeah,
so let's go back a little bit and talk about your past. Now, you grew up in the Texas Panhandle, Houston. You lived in Austin. You even lived in L.A.
I even lived in
L.A.
L.A.
We'll forgive you for that. So how did living in all those different geographies influence your viewpoint of hunting? I kind of know how the Texas aspect of it would do it, but the LA aspect of it, did you get away from it? Did you have to explain it? Did you, how did it shape your views on hunting?
Good question, because when I lived in Los Angeles and I had a couple of buddies that had moved from Texas, so if you wanted to hunt state land, it was easy because there weren't that many hunters, right? So we did hunt, and I probably hunted more. Well, maybe not more, but I hunted a lot when I was in Los Angeles. And I remember one time carrying my gun case to my truck, which there weren't many people driving trucks either where I lived. Right. And one guy was like, "Hey man, what kind of axe you got in there?" I thought I was carrying a guitar. So I had to explain to him, like, no, it's actually a hunting rifle. He's like, "Oh, right on." He just kept going, whatever. Yeah. But no, I did have some interesting conversations about hunting and what it was about. And I've had so many of them now, I feel like I've kind of got it down to almost like an elevator pitch where it's, like, hold on, it's, you're taking the middleman out, you're taking the responsibility, you're doing this, you're, conservation, you buy your license and that money, where that money goes and all that. And I did one year, we went to a dude ranch, more or less. I call it a dude ranch. It was a nice place to go fishing in Colorado. Yeah. People from all over. And there was a woman that came from California, and that was one of the first things she said was, "You're from Texas, so you hunt, don't you?" I said, "Well, not everybody in Texas hunts, but yes, I do." And she said, "Well, I don't understand it. So but I'm willing to listen. And that just blew me away. So we had a great conversation. By the time we finished talking, she said, I understand it. She said, I'm not mad at you for doing it, but I'm still not going to hunt.
Right.
I said, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's the people we need to be talking to.
Exactly.
The people that are at least open to a dialogue about it,
Right.
and why it is a conservation tool at its true core.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's just, yeah, you and I've had this conversation millions of times where the anti-hunters are never gonna listen to you, but there's that huge population of people that are in the middle ground that are willing to accept it, want to hear more about it, but they'll never do it. I'll never play pickleball. Do I hate people who play pickleball? No, it's great.
I kind of do.
I know you do.
Kidding.
But I mean, or tennis or golf, it's not my thing.
Right.
But I'm not going to hate on them for it.
No. Right. No. But so, yeah, I lived in LA for about 8 years. And what that did, though, it put my experience in Texas hunting and with my father and all that, it really put it in perspective and kind of put it in this box for me where I just wanted to go back to that. So coming back to Texas, it made it that much more of a special thing to be able to do. And now that I take my daughter, I soak up every moment.
Yeah.
So it's made me appreciate the more like-minded people that we're around. And,
Right.
Yeah, I think that what living in LA and to some degree even in Austin too.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Austin is the LA / San Francisco of Texas anyway, so.
Yeah.
Capital Farm Credit understands that there's something about the outdoors that pulls you in. Could be the fresh air, the colors, the smells, the animals, the freedom. It's all just a part of who you are. And with our recreational land loans, you can purchase land for whatever outdoor pursuit you please. That way, the outdoors won't just be in your soul. It'll also be in your name. To learn more, visit CapitalFarmCredit.com. Together, we're better.
You mentioned your dad. Your dad had a big influence on you, I guess, growing up, and I'd be interested to know more about what lessons and life lessons and things you took away from him that really stick with you in regarding to land and wildlife.
Well, so he was raised on a ranch north of Amarillo. It was called the LX Cattle Ranch. It still exists, and it's still pretty good size. It's
Taylor Sheridan hadn't purchased it yet.
No, and that ain't gonna happen, I don't think. It's still 80,000 acres.
Yeah.
I think it was at least double that when he was working it.
Right.
So he lived every day, experiencing that, and it was a tough decision for him to decide, okay, are we going to live in the country or are we going to live in a city? But his business took him here to Houston. So when we got out, we definitely made the best of it. And we had leases in Eagle Lake, goose hunting. We had some near Columbus for deer hunting. And the lessons that he taught me were appreciation, again, for the outdoors. And I've said this to you probably 100 times, that we spend our time, most of the time, in what is man-made, people-made. And when you get outdoors, that's what God made.
Yeah.
Whatever your definition of God, that's what, so it just brings you down to a different level, and being able to literally look up at the stars is something that is just, just puts you in a different place.
Right.
And then, of course, there were all the technical lessons he taught me about shooting and things like that, flinching and holding on to the trigger and that sort of thing that really helped me.
Yeah. Is your daughter into hunting?
She is. Yeah. She is. She's my eyes when we go. I mean, I don't know how many times we've sat somewhere and she'll say, "Daddy, there's a buck," and I'm looking around, where?
Yeah.
And it's right there. No, she's definitely into it. She shoots. She doesn't hunt yet. It's there, but she's more worried about wounding an animal.
Right.
But she doesn't. I mean, when I shoot something, it's high fives all around.
Yeah.
And and I'm not going to push her, because when you push
a
child to try and do something like that, then they're probably going to go the other direction.
Yeah.
So I'm letting her fall into it.
Yeah. When she's ready, she'll be ready.
That's right.
And I'm sure she'll tell you.
No doubt. No doubt.
I don't know if it was you that said this or conveyed it to me at one time, but there's a saying: "The hunting builds bonds and helps people heal." Was that?
It wasn't me, but I wish I could claim that.
What is it? What I'm just curious. As a lifelong hunter, what does that mean to you? Hunting builds bonds and helps people heal. What does that?
Well, I can use you as an example easily. So I had never hunted with you, and then we went to Alaska, and I knew something about you. I knew some about you, right? But the Joe Bitar I knew before I went hunting and the one I knew after were two different things.
Sure.
You hunt with somebody, it's different, right? You get to know a lot more about them.
And like or dislike them pretty quickly.
Right, you're going to go one way or the other, right? So I remember telling you, and I think, and you laughed at me because you were like, "I'm not sure how to take that." But I remember telling you, I like you a lot. I like you a lot more now than before. And you're like, "Hold on, does that mean you didn't like me before?" But it's true. It does create those bonds, hopefully. Yeah. And then what was the other part? The other part was
helps people heal.
Well, I think that's an absolute fact. It puts people in if you are hurting mentally, emotionally, or whatever, if you can get outdoors. I have a buddy that I took to my place just a few weeks ago, and I can't count on two hands how many times he told me, "I needed this. I really needed this." And he was sincere about it, and I couldn't have been happier because he was going through a rough time, and his wife went through cancer, and thank God she's fine. But it was a long, hard road. So to be able to take him out there and emotionally heal, I think is just it's very, very important, and people don't realize it, I think, until they're out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it changes your perspective. I feel like as I'm driving out of Houston, every time I'm going to the lease or going to the ranch, I feel my shoulders start to drop. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like,
yeah,
it's not such a bad day,
Right.
Then I'm thinking, where am I going to sit tomorrow?
Right.
Or when I get there,
right.
Where am I going to sit? So yeah, I definitely think it's a huge mental tool. It's a tool to help your mental well-being. Mm-hmm. Just whether you're hunting or fishing or just sitting under a tree somewhere for an hour. It's just to be outdoors in a way, like you said, from all the buzz and the noise and the clutter of our man-made world is just it's something I think it's absolutely necessary. And until people experience that and they know the difference between A and B, I don't think they fully understand it.
No, they can't. And I hate to bring up living in LA again, but when I moved there and was there for such a long time, when I would come back here and everything was just open, and so much more relaxed. And obviously this is a big city too, but it just makes you appreciate it. And some of my friends there couldn't understand.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you're not going to until, you go. And I've taken a few people in the last few years that are closer to my age and never hunted. Mm-hmm. John Stone being one of them.
Yeah.
Before he had his ranch and everything, he had never really hunted.
Yeah.
And now obviously he's got his own place.
Right.
A few other people that they just didn't know what they were missing, and now they're just absolutely hooked.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, John's taken it to a whole nother level.
Yes, he has.
He likes to hunt, but he also likes just a lot of big animals in his place, which is cool. Hunting Matters is presented by Copandero Indoor Archery Pistol and Rifle Range, your premier indoor archery pistol and rifle shooting destination. Located in Oak Ridge North, right next to the Woodlands, Copandero offers 2 25-yard pistol ranges, a 100-yard rifle range, and a 25-yard archery range. Whether you're honing your skills or just starting, Copandero has everything you need, including rentals, classes, a retail store, an in-house cafe, and a VIP lounge. Join Copandero today for an unmatched shooting experience. To learn more, go to copandero.com.
He does.
What drew you towards land and ranch real estate versus commercial or residential? Did you operate in those areas at all?
Not at all.
You're a contractor, though.
No, I was.
Yeah.
I was had a construction company. We did finishes, commercial. We did stone, dimension stone, like matched granite and things like that. Wood floors, tile, stuff like that. And I was actually in Alaska for the first time, traveling with my cousin and another buddy, and the satellite phone that I had to have my own satellite phone because I was going to get calls from the job. And I got one call, and my cousin heard the conversation. When I came to sit down, he said, you got to get out of this, man. It's going to kill you. That's going to kill you. And it wasn't even a bad one. I didn't curse, nothing, anything. But it was such a, he said that life is just, there's too many other options, and you got to get out of this. So I took my experience from being in Alaska, which Alaska's my place, man. I love it. And I thought, you know what? I followed a few brokerages that do, ranch real estate. I'm going to call a couple, and I'm going to see what I think. And one of the first ones I called, had about a 4-hour conversation. They said, you're perfect. You don't know anything about real estate, but you know about hunting and you know about owning a business. And that's great because you don't have to break your bad habits of residential or whatever real estate. So I just made the decision and, never looked back.
Still a lot of land available out there?
There is.
Yeah.
There is. I'm surprised sometimes.
In Texas, I mean.
Yeah, right.
Speaking in that microcosm.
No, definitely. Depends on what county you're looking at, but some people's expectations, I think, are, if I get 200 acres or 150, then I've got a ranch, You can. Depends on your neighbors and things like that, but there's still plenty of land trading hands.
Besides obviously calling you, somebody's dreaming about making their first land or ranch purchase. How do they even start?
Besides calling me, so what I typically do is, you start with budget and where. It could be either way. They might have a specific budget, but you'd be surprised where people find money when they find the exact place they want. And then I direct them to, if they're not paying cash, which most people don't, I'll send them to Capital Farm just to get them paperwork set up and see what they can and can't do. And then it's just all about sitting down and I'll tell you what, most of my ranch sales with buyers end up being in a different county completely than where they say they want it to look. Because people have an idea, they've driven I-10, they know I like this, I like this, I like that. And so they want to look in a certain area. Well, there are plenty of other areas to look, like Lavaca County, for instance.
Right.
A lot of people don't think about that. It's less money. There's some roll to the land. There's a ton of oak trees if you're looking in the right place.
Sure.
So that's really my job, is to let people know there are more options than even what they're looking for.
Yeah. See, your job's different than, let's say, residential. I mean, driving across Houston takes you a minimum an hour to get anywhere. You're showing a property, you're hopping in the truck and going 3, 5, 8 hours. I mean, how do you work that schedule?
That's tough.
And how do you discern this is a looky-loo versus this is a qualified buyer?
Well, I have a listing right now, and it's solid 5 hours to get out there. And would I have taken it? I probably still would have taken it because of the price tag on it. But he's also a former client that sold his place in LaGrange, and now he has a place out near Coleman. So of course, I'm going to be loyal to him and I'm going to help him. And but yeah, 5-hour drive is, especially if you do it in one day, ends up being pretty tough. But you turn the truck into an office.
Yeah.
You know that. And
Sure. Got
the antenna that picks up the signal and gives you a boost, and so I can do a whole heck of a lot in the truck. And that's the other thing people always ask, man, I'm sorry I'm calling you on a Saturday or a Sunday. Well, no, that's when you're off work. So I expect to work. I mean, I do something every single day. Have to.
Yeah.
But if I didn't like the job, I wouldn't do it.
Sure.
But it's some people, they need a lot more hand holding, and that's fine. I like being able to educate people on it. When people mention they're looking for a place, I'll tell them, you don't have to use me, but use somebody.
Right.
Or don't sign a contract and then come to me and say I need help.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah.
But there's a really big satisfaction for me helping someone or a family find a place and knowing that they're gonna improve that land and they're gonna turn it into something special.
Are you looking for an investment that goes beyond the ordinary? Wildlife Partners is the nation's leader in breeding and consulting for the exotic wildlife industry. When you invest in wildlife, you're not just acquiring a 100% tax-deductible asset, you're playing a vital role in the conservation of endangered species. Do you own land? You can turn your ranch into a profitable wildlife-driven business. And even if you don't own land, that's no problem. Wildlife Partners offers unique opportunities for non-landowners to invest in conservation while enjoying significant tax benefits and potential cash flow. What do you think one or two of the most common mistakes people make when they're out there looking to buy recreational land?
Probably, I'd say, well, it's easier on the seller side because the sellers always think that their property is worth more than it's worth.
Right.
And on the buyer side, it's, to me, convincing somebody that, okay, you're buying this property and there's a house on it. The house is terrible, but that's okay because there's no value in it. But you've got the utilities there. You got the septic. You have all that in place. So at some point, the house goes away and you build what you want. So that's probably the biggest mistake I've seen is people will see a house that's built in the mid-'80s or maybe even the 90s and not that great a shape, and the seller has put a value on it. It's been appraised. It's close enough in appraisal, and they buy it. But I'm like, oh man, we could have probably found you a place that had either no house or something that was just a tear down. That, and then I try and help people not make mistakes. That's really my job, is to understand, what owning, having an easement versus fee simple, versus, okay, we're looking at the map and there's poultry right here. You don't want to be downwind from that. Or there's a paper mill over here. You definitely don't want to be downwind of that, and things like that.
Sure.
That's I'd say a huge part of my job. But your question is about mistakes, and that's what I really focus on.
Buying a place downwind of a pig farm's a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Or something that's, hard to get to.
Sure.
There's a few, agents that I know that work in the Rock Springs area, and I know that I can trust them. I call them, and they'll immediately tell me, yeah, they got to have a 4-wheel drive to get to this place. So that may be off limits, or there is no power.
Yeah.
It's going to cost $150,000 to get power, and the property's, worth $500,000. So, those are the kinds of things that, it's just, I think sometimes people say, oh, I don't need an agent. Well, you don't to look online, but it's all these other things. I know people that didn't use an agent and bought a property, and literally they bought a property that had no road to it, really, to get to it. You had to, walk in, more or less. They had looked at it with a Polaris, but they didn't even think about it. So those are the kinds of things I try and catch for them.
When you're walking a property, with a client, and let's say they're saying, I want to buy this to live on or whatever, or hunt on it. What are the things that you're looking for besides access and water, septic, and electricity, and those things that kind of, let's say I'm like Derek, I want to go look at a property that I want to use for hunting and conservation. What are some of the key things that you're looking for if somebody's looking for that type of property?
If there are any oil, gas leases, if there are pipelines, and what does the seller have? If they have the mineral rights, are they willing to part with all or some of them? Those are really big ones.
Are there many places available anymore that the mineral rights are conveyed?
There are. It's pretty rare when I find a place that the seller owns 100%, but they may own a good percentage, and they may be willing to give up some to the buyer, just so the buyer has a seat at the table, so to speak. And then it's super important to look at the leases. What lease is in place? What's been signed? What lease has been signed that says in perpetuity, meaning they have, as long as they're producing some oil, that lease is in place. And what are the conditions for that? Because there's leases in place where people make money on their land when they put a road in there and they take out so many trees and they have to be paid, or they use water or whatever. The big thing now, and I'd say, call it a gold rush if you want, is our data centers.
Yeah.
That is that's the number one thing on a lot of people's minds right now that own property. They want to know, okay, if somebody comes to me and wants to buy this for a data center, I'm going to be a multi-zillionaire.
Yeah.
Which in some cases that happens.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's brokers that will hold several properties. They'll put up 4 or 5 properties under contract, but that contract says it can be extended a year, another year, and they will capture that property until they figure out exactly which one they want, and then it's the actual operator that comes in and buys it from them. So, and there's a lot that goes into it too. Where's the substation? Where are the transmission lines?
Yeah.
Where's the fiber optic? All that kind of stuff. So it's a whole nother thing now, I'd say.
Those are all things I think a lot of people don't even consider when they're thinking about, buying land and what's on it. And a lot of these places are rugged and you can't see it. You can't see all of the property and don't really know what's hidden and what's here and there and that sort of thing as well.
Sure.
Hunting Matters is presented by DEA Ranch. Are you looking for the ultimate South Texas hunting experience? Then look no further than DEA Ranch. DEA Ranch offers some of the best whitetail and exotic game hunts in South Texas year-round. Whether you're looking to fill your freezer or put that next hunting memory on the wall, their professional guides are focused on ensuring each client has a memorable and exciting hunting experience. DEA Ranch offers guided hunts, professional staff, chef-prepared meals, trophy preparation, and more. To learn more, go to dearanch.com. That's dearanch.com.
So you've been involved with the Houston Safari Club Foundation for quite a while now, and obviously you part of the reason you're involved is giving back to the hunting community, to the youth, the future generations of people that are going to be sitting in these chairs, 20 years from now, talking about hunting and conservation, hopefully. What does that mean to you personally to be involved? Because I know you've been involved in several different organizations over the years.
Well, I wanted to be involved with Houston Safari Club Foundation because I'm from Houston, number one. And so why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I be a part of a group that's based in Houston? And, I met a few people, and then, I came to you literally and said, how can I get more involved? And that's led to, many.
You should have never asked me that
I know,
question.
yeah. And I look back on that day and I say, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I think before I was voted on the board, I was very intimidated by who those people might be and what it might be like. And now it's, I've just met some fantastic people. I really think, knowing the other organizations that I've been involved with, our group is, it's a good group of people, I really think that 99% really care about what is happening and what can we do to make things better, to move that needle. And I saw opportunity to get involved with Houston and hopefully make a difference.
Yeah. And you've been, to your credit, you've been involved on several different levels. We're going to talk about your current role as a convention chair here in just a few minutes. But you've been on finance committee, you've been on the board, you've been on, grants committee. In your view, because you've worn all these different hats, how do you think that Houston Safari Club Foundation serves or is a resource for not only the experienced hunter, but also for the new hunter?
Well, I think, for the new hunter, our monthly events that we have, that outreach, and I think as good as that's gone, I think we could do a better job of finding new hunters because we are a resource. And I think that's, beyond the youth, which I think is super important, what we do there, and our scholarships, and I think just being a resource is and letting people understand that and know that is vitally important. And I think we'll bring more people to the club because, I've sent out an email before, like to you, and said, hey, I need a whatever hunt, and goes to a couple people, and then there's 4 or 5 people that have said, I've hunted with this, And that's hugely important.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've had a couple of members recently, younger guys that have joined, and man, they soak it up and they want to know. And it's refreshing to see younger guys coming in, younger women coming in, and wanting to know more about what we've done and how they can do the same thing. How do they hunt Alaska? Who should they go with to Africa or whatever? So being a resource is becoming higher and higher on my list.
Yeah.
Of the
Yeah.
importance of this.
I think
club.
that's part of our maturation as hunters as well, to become resources. And it's not all about just shooting animals. It's more about, educating others and bringing them into the fold and encouraging them to, even adults, like you said, you've taken people hunting that are your age that have never hunted before. And I think we're dudes. Our tendency is not to ask.
Right.
We figure it out. But I think with hunting, you're always 5 steps ahead if you go and learn and participate in hunting with somebody who's been doing it, most of their lives.
Right.
I just think it's the way to do it. And don't, folks, if you're watching this podcast and you want to get into it, don't be afraid to ask. Come to Houston Safari Club Foundation event, come to convention, which we're going to talk about, and just ask, hey, I don't know how to do this. How do I do it? How do I get started? Because there's a variety of experts within the organization that have done it all over the place. Some of them are just in Texas, but some of them have hunted all over the world.
Yeah, and we as members, I think just about everybody I talk to, that it's more exciting to them to take someone hunting that's never been, or whether it's adult or child or whatever. But there's a friend of mine, and he's a member, and he had up to just I think 3 or 4 years ago, all he had ever shot were hogs. That's it. Never shot a deer before. I was with him the first time he shot a deer, and then I was with him first time his son shot a deer, and now it's just on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so he's become somewhat involved, and just cherishes the time that he can go outdoors and do things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Nobody wants to imagine an emergency on a hunting trip, but when the unexpected happens, you want the team of medical and security experts at Global Rescue to be there for you. Global Rescue Operations Centers are staffed by experienced personnel, and you'll always speak to an expert on the first call. Global Rescue provides unparalleled capabilities to transport members to the hospital of their choice, not just the closest. So trade what-ifs for peace of mind with convenient travel services designed for the unexpected. Learn more at globalrescue.com/huntingmatters. So you're the convention chair. 2026 Houston Safari Club Foundation Worldwide Hunting Expo and Convention. It just rolls off my tongue.
It doesn't.
Because I talk about it all the time. It's coming up January 23rd through the 25th next year at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott Hotel and Convention Center. And we kick it off unofficially on Wednesday night with an exhibitor and volunteer party. And then Thursday night we have our annual Hunting and Photo Awards. But for the general public, the whole thing kind of kicks off the expo and everything else. And the banquets that we have every night and every day kick off on Friday, the 23rd. What's it been like being convention chair for the past year?
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's been fun. I don't think there's been a moment where I didn't feel like, okay, if I don't know what I need to do next or what's going on or whatever, there wasn't somebody there like you or a past president or something to tell me, steer me in a direction or say, this is how we did it last year. And I may have an idea and like, well, we're going to try that then, So it's been fun. It's definitely been fun. I've been able to put my stamp on a few things without going crazy and changing things completely around. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all comes together because, every convention meeting that we have, there's just such a positive, all the kids say vibe. I mean, there is in the room that it's kind of intoxicating, and, we've got some amazing auction items, and years past they've been good, but I'm telling you, they're good. You know it.
Yeah.
The raffle items are amazing. I think people have really stepped up in their roles, and I think it's going to show, and I think it's going to be a really good convention.
Yeah, I agree. I think probably the raffles and the banquet live auctions and things like that are probably the strongest I've seen in several years. And we want people to come to convention and walk the floor, walk the expo, and meet everybody and meet all of our exhibitors, because the exhibitors are the ones that make it happen. Without their support. But if for some reason you're watching, you're remotely, and you can't get to Houston that weekend, you can go to onlinehuntingauctions.com and they can bid on most of the items. We don't do like puppies and firearms and artwork and things like that online, but just about every one of our hunting and fishing trips, I think, is available for online auction. And I'm really excited. We talked about it on the podcast before, is that we were awarded, first time in 6 years, we were awarded the Desert Bighorn Sheep Tag for the state of Texas. Huge. Which is going to be interesting.
That's a big one right there. That is a really big one. I'm super curious to see how that plays out and who wins that. Because how many are there? Actually,
tags?
Yeah.
Well, they give one conservation tag every year to an
So
organization.
there's one.
But you're only eligible every 5 years.
Right.
They do have a couple of other management tags. Like when they do the big Texas Hunt Giveaway contest, they do one, and I think they have one or two others that are and they vary year to year based on the sheep herd and the population and how they're progressing and things like that. But as far as I'm concerned, conservation tag, this is 101, and the bidding will start at $50K, and it'll easily go way up from there, I think, because there's a lot of people who haven't shot a desert bighorn sheep in Texas that they want to add that to their list. But the other things I'm excited about are the banquets and the auctions and the expo and the diversity things. We're going to do something for the second year in a row we started doing it last year, is that if you come to convention, we're going to give you a free gift. You're going to get a free rifle rest bag, or what I call blind bags. Last year we did the ammo cans, so that's cool because you're getting basically the cost of admission is basically getting you that gift, because it's
Right.
And we're going to give away free digital memberships to anybody who wants to sign up, as well as all of our other memberships. What else about convention is kind of new this year that kind of excites you?
Well, awards night I think is going to be fantastic with everything we've got going on. The speaker that we have,
Oh yeah,
Captain
Tom Chaby.
Yep. And man, he is something else. We've had a couple of conversations with him, and just to be somebody that has been involved that long, and it was Delta, right?
He was a SEAL.
SEAL, sorry.
Yeah. Is a SEAL.
Is
You're
a
always
SEAL. I was going to say, yeah, you never not. And just wanting to help and wanting to be a part of things, and really just a sincere guy, I think is going to be, and he's highly sought after by Fortune 500 companies, professional sports teams, all that kind of stuff. And he's going to talk to us. Thanks to Dex Imaging, he's going to come and talk to us, which I think is going to be fantastic. And then, we've got some entertainment on Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night last year I thought was just lights out. The way the room was, just the whole feeling and everything about our. We had all our some of our scholarship winners that were there that spoke, and it was impressive. And Saturday night is always amazing,
right?
And I mean, we've in the past, things have kind of slowed a little bit, and the night ends up being long, and then we get to the auction. And the idea this year was to kind of keep things going, and I think everybody's going to be happy with that. I mean, we do have entertainment, but the entertainment's going to be playing during dinner.
Yeah.
Kelly Willis on Saturday night, and which I've already had a couple of people say, save me a spot to see Kelly.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, the whole idea of the whole weekend is fundraising, so we can give that money away for grants, scholarships, youth education programs, and things. So we do try to move things along,
right? Because
we've all been to banquets. We've been more of our share of banquets than eaten. And I will say this: it's not convention chicken at our banquets.
Oh no,
the food that we have at our convention is top notch.
Well, and you get to blame if you don't like it. If you don't like the food, you get to blame this guy right here.
Oh, yeah, you were at the tasting.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They do a great job out there.
No, they do. It's fantastic.
In the heart of nature, give your deer the nutrition they deserve with Record Rack Deer Feeds. The premium feeds support antler growth and overall herd health. Whether you're a wildlife enthusiast or a dedicated hunter, Record Rack Deer Feeds provide essential nutrients for a thriving herd. Choose Record Rack Deer Feeds for optimal deer nutrition. Visit recordrack.com to learn more.
The other thing that we haven't done before, we like to try new things every year. The other thing we haven't done before is that we're offering hunter education classes on Saturday morning up until 1 o'clock, I think is when they're done, and they're free. So people don't even have to pay for them. They can go to the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department hunter education page, sign up, and they're going to get their hunter education course on behalf paid for by Houston Safari Club Foundation, and they're going to get a gift for going as well. Heidi Rayo, who's been was affiliated with Parks and Wildlife for years, and she and her husband are educators, and she's agreed to teach that course as well. The packages, the packages of things that we have for auction this year are pretty impressive, like the President's Rifle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It is it's amazing. It's not only the President's Rifle, it's how do you pronounce it?
a Chapuis 470 Nitro Express,
Yeah.
yeah, with interchangeable shotgun barrels.
Right.
So it's a rifle and a shotgun.
That's super impressive.
Yep.
And then that's packaged with a hunt as well.
Yeah, Cape Buffalo Hunt on Kitata 10
And
and the taxidermy.
exactly. So you've got all three of those things in one package, and that's really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't find something to bid on, you're not looking.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's different. And then you lined up a puppy for Saturday night.
The puppy's amazing.
Tell us about that a little bit.
So the puppy, over the past couple of years, from the same breeder, Soggy Bottom Breeders, our family has bought 4 puppies, and they were either through charity or otherwise. I never wanted a lab, and I guess I was talked into it at another charity function, and we brought home a fox red lab, who is just the most amazing dog ever. I mean, she is the sweetest dog, but she's got, most labs are just like play,
Yeah, for the 2 years at least.
Right. No, but she has got an off switch. You get her in the house and she's down. She's fine. She's great. And every one of the dogs that we've got is the same way. They have an off switch, and I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
But the people at Soggy Bottom, they do it. And we were gonna have a puppy, but now it's gonna be you're gonna bid on a litter, and you'll be able to pick from that litter, which I think is kind of an advantage.
Yeah.
So we'll bid that night, and
Pick of the litter, that's a big deal.
it's a really big deal. And then fox red labs are, they're not a dime a dozen. You just don't see them a whole
Right.
lot. And I think I may bring Xena up there. Xena, my dog, the fox red lab, would be related in some capacity, actually pretty close to the dogs that they would be bidding on.
Cool.
So just can't say enough good things about those people. I mean, I've had a lot of dogs, but man, she is something else. And
Yeah.
so when you said pick a dog, I said, it's these guys for
Yeah.
sure.
And you've got a buddy who's a New Zealand outfitter that stepped up in a big way this year as well.
Did, yeah. Heath, my boy Heath, New Zealand Hunting Adventures.
Hunting Adventures, right.
Yep, New Zealand Hunting Adventures. He had asked me, he said, look, mate, what do you want? Because last year I think it was 500 class red stag, and we are incredibly lucky enough to have other New Zealand outfitters that have offered that, or do offer that, or are offering that this year. So he said, look, I'm gonna give you a bull tar, and let's throw in a rifle with a scope. So we've got a Christensen Arms rifle, it's 300 WSM. Scope is a Leupold. Is it 5 HD?
Yeah, I don't remember the specs, but it's Leupold. So
it's I know. So you get the bull tar hunt, and you get the rifle, and that's who I went with to get mine. And that is a story that is just, I will never forget it. Never forget that hunt. Never forget going and being up that high in the mountains.
Yeah.
Because I was going to hike it.
Right.
I thought, I'm a man. I'm going to hike it. And
Right.
he said, we're going to hike for 3 days, and we still won't be high enough to get them. You got to do the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
So you jump off the helicopter, and it's not like you're shooting them from a helicopter.
No.
You see them, they go.
Yeah.
You jump off the helicopter while it's still flying,
Sure.
and then you stalk them,
Yeah.
shoot them. And then
Yeah,
you-
my guide grabbed me by the collar and said, "Let's go." And I had the rifle in this hand, and he's jerking me out of the helicopter while the helicopter's, this far off the ground.
Right,
But that's
right.
the way it happens.
It is. It's amazing. So no, that's a great hunt. We've got and then Wanganui has got their hunt. It's a whole different kind of.
Yeah, the Bamber family at Wanganui Safaris kicked in not only a hunt, but a trout fishing trip and a touring adventure to Amari Village, as well as to, what do they call it? I'm not a Hobbit fan, so Hobbiton, is that what they call
I
it?
don't know what they call it, but it's
Yeah,
over
they're
there.
to that as well. So that's going to be a big deal. I mean, I think, and I say this every year, but I'm seriously, folks, I'm really saying this truthfully this year, from the bottom of my heart. I think some of the packages and the combination packages are some of the best we've seen
Yeah.
in a long time. And we've always told our exhibitors, like I said before, they're the ones who make this engine run, because without them we couldn't have a convention and we couldn't raise money. So we truly appreciate them. But they've really stepped up this year to go, you know what, I'm going to do something different. Stand out in the crowd, because you and I both know that a donation with a couple of Impalas is not going to
Right.
excite people, because it just doesn't. But to change it up just a little bit, maybe it's a day trip to a winery or something like that. I mean, those things are, those things have added a lot of, and we have a lot more North American hunts this year. We have a mountain lion hunt, we got a bear hunt. I think we have a combination mule deer whitetail hunt.
Yep.
As well.
Hunt right up the road at Vara
Yep.
in Columbus.
I mean, lots of Texas hunts and things like that, jewelry, or furs and artwork, and we probably got more artwork than we've had in several years. So it's a pretty diverse offering, and by far, I think we probably got more firearms that we're doing this year. Our raffle chair, Jameson Smith, came up with an idea last year to do speed raffles. So we're going to do speed raffles every day, one a day, and then one every night before the banquets for firearms. And it's $100 a ticket for 100 tickets. Good chance to win. So we want to keep something going kind of all the time. Are you looking for a smarter way to manage your document imaging and print environment? Dex Imaging delivers industry-leading printers, copiers, and fully managed print services designed to cut cost, boost productivity, and simplify your workflow. Whether you're a small business or a Fortune 500 company, Dex provides personalized local service with the power of a national network, so you get fast, reliable support wherever you are. Dex gives back, proudly supporting organizations like Houston Safari Club Foundation by giving through profit sharing. Dex Imaging, smarter technology, exceptional service, proven results. Visit deximaging.com or email Adam Montgomery at adam.montgomery@deximaging.com. Something else that you brought to the table this year that was completely your idea. Tell everybody about your good buddy George Blitch and the Son of a Blitch podcast. I just like to say the name because it's hilarious.
So George Blitz, a friend of mine, and he has led an eclectic life. He's worked for National Geographic, and he's got a map company now. But he also has a podcast. It's very well followed. Diverse people on every podcast. He had like the cast of Dexter.
Yeah.
On there like that 1 week. Where he had Peter
yeah.
Dinklage and
Yep.
Uma Thurman and I don't know who else. And then, and then he'll have, somebody that's a James Beard Award winner. Chef, cook, whatever, and then of course he's all about hunting and but met him, talked to him, and he said, look, I'd love to get involved. I'd really like to be involved in the convention. And he threw out some ideas. I said, let's go. Let's do it. So he's going to be filming quite a bit, interviewing quite a bit. And he's been pushing us on his podcast. But not a more positive person will you find in a room. He is a wonderful person. So I can't wait to see what he comes up with his interviews in the film, because I think people are going to react to him really well.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And you carried that burden last year, so
yeah, it was fun. It was fun though.
It's fun, but you're there working, and now you're convention chair. There was no way that you could have done all of it. Mm-hmm. What else about convention excites you? This coming convention.
Well, let's see. So we also have our lifetime member breakfast again.
Yep.
Which I think will be even more well attended this year since we had it last year. I know we touched on the raffle, but man, the raffle's good. Good Lord, the guns and the ultimate package.
Yeah.
Just amazing stuff. So I'm very excited to see how that goes. And just the variety of exhibitors that we have this year, and the fact that we have a waiting list every year now, that speaks volumes to what we're doing. But we're not going to be complacent with that, and we're not going to sit on that, and we are going to stay involved with our exhibitors. We want their feedback. We want to know what makes what's good and what's bad, mainly what's bad. But they're always telling us how moving in is great and moving out and all that. But we've got just a really just strong group of exhibitors.
The other thing I think a lot of people forget is that we're right there in the heart of the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
So if people come and they have family members that could care less about hunting or fishing or any of the outdoors, you're steps away from restaurants and shopping and pubs and live entertainment. I mean, it's a great, and it's a safe place.
Safe.
I mean, nothing against downtown Houston. We've done conventions in downtown Houston, but it's a safe environment. There's kids out there playing in the green at the outdoor mall there all the time, all hours of the day and stuff. And so that's what I like, is that it's right there on the. I'm from San Antonio originally, so I'll call it. They call it a river walk out there, but the river's right there behind the hotel, the man-made river. There's shops and there's things to do if you don't want to hang out in the expo hall all day, and I think that's always exciting as well. Let me think. There was something else I wanted to talk about as far as convention goes also. And then, like you said, the raffle, which is huge. We'll do the actual raffle drawing Sunday afternoon at 2:00.
Right.
So, and that's always fun because everybody from all of the expo hall floor comes up there and they're all holding the raffle tickets. And most of the people that have hung out through the weekend, and they're wondering what they're going to get or not get.
There's going to be a lot of people hanging out for those, believe me.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gunworks just launched a new rifle system. It's called Index. It's sized for adventure and engineered for extremes. With barrel lengths as short as 16 inches and a folding stock that collapses to an ultra-short profile, the Gunworks Index fits nicely in a UTV, a float plane, or across the seat of your truck without sacrificing accuracy. The Index features a built-in ARCA and pick rail for use on tripod or bipod, and a night vision rail to ensure you're ready for any scenario. The Gunworks Index delivers magnum capability in the most compact chassis rifle system on the market. Visit gunworks.com to learn more.
But back to, the exhibitors. I can't stress enough that you've mentioned it once already, and I'll say it again or for the fourth time, that they are what make us go in this convention, and we appreciate them. And hopefully that they understand that. I think they do.
Yeah.
So from the feedback that I get.
Yeah. The one thing that people will not see at convention this year, so if anybody has been to our convention in the past, is we're not doing our YWCE this year at convention, where we brought in local area high school students to go to breakout sessions and meet people that had careers in the outdoors. And we've changed that shift this year as an organization. I think we're making a very positive move towards what we're going to be doing now, and that is we brought on a full-time person to manage our youth education program, Taylor Shell, who handles our membership as well. But we're looking at expanding the youth program in the field. So Taylor, is working to get more hunts booked, to get more schools involved, and we're actually looking at even doing with our buddy who's a board member and also a corporate partner, Leo Martinez at DEA Ranch, with doing summer camp at the Heritage Place this year. So if you're used to seeing a couple hundred kids walking around on the floor on Friday, that's not going to happen this year. But we think that we can be more impactful in the field and also taking curriculum into the classroom starting next year.
I think so too. It's more, not bringing them to the expo hall, but we're actually either taking them or going to them, out in, like you said, out in the field, and there's no substitute for that.
Yeah.
So no, I'm thrilled to death at the progression so far and where I think it's going to end up being, because, it's why I joined in the first place.
Right.
Our first conversation, you said, do you want to be clay chair? And I said, well, where's the money going? You said, it's going to go to youth. And I said, okay.
Yep.
I'm in.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think we're making great strides and going to continue to do that.
And the other thing we've started up, which Taylor's also affiliated with, is our scholarship alumni program. We're
Yes.
starting to see a lot of our scholarship students that are becoming the key decision makers, key opinion leaders, the thought leaders, the educators in the outdoor and conservation world. And so what we've started to do now on Friday night is bring back not only one of our academic advisors who's directing, children, I'm an old man, directing young adults to apply for our scholarships, but also now we're bringing back a past scholarship recipient to kind of talk about their experience with it as well. And now we're forming a scholarship alumni program where past recipients can get together, they can network, they can meet. At convention, we're actually going to hold a reception for them on Friday afternoon as well. So that's another thing that we've added to convention.
I think that's fantastic, and that is proof positive that what we're doing is changing lives and moving that needle that we want to move for conservation, for education, and getting these kids to doing what they need to do. It's the stories that last year on Friday night of how it impacted their lives and what they were doing and how they're doing it. I was blown away.
Yeah,
absolutely blown away.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I sit on the Texas Mule Deer Advisory Committee. I interact with several of those students who are now in positions at the state agency level, and they're some of the leading researchers in the state.
Right.
Our past scholarship recipients, they're leading the audit study program, the sheep program, the black bear program in Texas. I mean, those are three huge conservation projects that are happening in Texas, and there's a lot of people affiliated with those that got a Houston Safari Club Foundation Dan L. Duncan scholarship,
Right.
or two, in the past. I mean,
That should be celebrated, and that needs to be.
It's pretty cool.
It
Pretty
is.
cool.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up here, Derek, here's your chance to make a pitch to the public about why they should come to convention. So
Other than me being the convention chair this year.
right, exactly.
so I think it's a you can't not come. If you are a person that is interested in the outdoors, a hunter, or otherwise, camping, any of those things, you've got to come because there are too many exhibitors that are in one spot that you need to come and visit. And if there's a special hunt that you're looking for, I guarantee you that we're going to be able to figure that out for you, whether it's in Alaska, Spain, North America, wherever. The entertainment, Friday, Saturday night, speaker, Thursday night. Those banquets are also where you meet a lot of people, and it's getting like-minded people together.
Right. And it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's what I was getting at. That it's just fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we're working on our side, and
Sure.
and it's work, but hey, it's for a great cause, and the money we make, we give back.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
The Houston Safari Club Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports the future of hunting and conservation. Wildlife and habitat conservation, youth education and outdoor experiences, scholarships, and anti-poaching efforts are just a few of the programs supported by this organization. Monthly events, an annual convention, award-winning publications, networking opportunities, and valuable resources for hunting knowledge are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Houston Safari Club Foundation. If you're searching for a group of people dedicated to protecting the future of hunting, look no further. Join Houston Safari Club Foundation today at wehuntwegive.org or call 713-623-8844.
And I'm always amazed at, I don't ever like to not mention this, but I'm always amazed that people come to the expo and they go, oh, they see the auction catalog, for example, and they go, oh, you guys have banquets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have banquets. Can I get tickets? It's a little late now, so I just want to encourage everybody, if you're planning to come to a convention, you can go to the Houston Safari Club Foundation website and just type in wehuntwegive.org and it'll take you to our website. You can book your hotel room on the convention page. You get a discounted room in the room block. You can put your banquet tickets there, get your expo hall pass tickets, everything. Because a lot of people go, oh, I missed out. I didn't know you guys were having a banquet. I didn't know Kelly Willis was playing. I didn't know I could bid on these things. And so, we have the awards banquet Thursday night for photo and hunting awards. Friday night's a casual dinner with
John Bauman.
with John Bauman, with a live auction then. And then the Gazelles, our ladies group, has a ladies luncheon that runs from like 10:30 to 1:30, and guys and girls can go to that. 250 people seated there. It always sells out.
Yep.
And then Saturday night is our big, I call it the black tie optional gala, because you'll see people in there all forms of dress, but it's a black tie optional event, a little dressier. And then Sunday morning is just the life member breakfast. We get together and we eat and just hang out and network. I mean, it's just, I think you cheat yourself if you don't go to the expo and go to the banquets as well.
I agree.
Of that full experience. And if you didn't get something on Friday night, trust me, the Gazelles is going to have a live auction and a fantastic silent auction.
I was just looking through the book. It's amazing.
The silent auction stuff is really cranking up.
Yep.
And then if you don't get something there, you buy something those two, you come to the one on Saturday night and buy that puppy or the President's Rifle or one of those great hunts or experiences as well. I mean, it's just I'm getting fired up just talking about it, but I just want people to understand and know that it's more than just a consumer expo. I mean, it's a social event that's happening all weekend long. In fact, I go home and sleep for 2 days afterwards because
and that's the point. It is a social event as well. It's not just somebody trying to sell you a widget. It's
right.
It's connecting with people.
Right. And everybody there that's an exhibitor is related to the outdoors.
Right.
We're not selling siding. We're not selling glass cleaner
or pillows
or whatever. This is a true hunting thing. So be on the lookout. Go to wehuntwegive.org, check out the convention page, sign up, get your banquet tickets, sign up for the online auction, get your expo tickets. Be watching. We're going to be everywhere: streaming television, billboards, sporting events, all those things. So you'll definitely see the commercials. So Derek, I really appreciate your time today. I wish you a very successful convention this year. And folks, if you don't come, you're missing it. So you are missing out. So go to wehuntwegive.org and come out and support what we're doing to get back to the outdoor and hunting community. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week on our next edition of Hunting Matters, brought to you by the Houston Safari Club Foundation. Take care and have a great week. Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.